you know, very boldly slid in them DMs.
Boldly?
Like,
okay.
You was being, listen, I respect being straightforward and upfront. You know, you wasn't beating around no bushes.
Man, you broke my heart.
This is recording.
All right, so welcome to Chat It Up with Deanny. I'm your host, Deanny. Tell you a little about myself. I am an actress, singer, writer, director, a published author, a writer, so many things, and I have a production company in Syracuse, New York called Black, which is the Black Latino Asian Artists Coalition. And here on Chat It Up with Deanny, we're going to talk about everything under the sun. And I want you guys to put your hands together out there for my first guest on my first podcast, London.
Thank you so much. So glad to be here. So my name's London. I am actually a social worker here in Syracuse. I'm a mental health therapist at Lemoyne College. If you know me, you don't know me. And I am pretty much just here to feel the vibes. I'm glad to be the first guest here, you know. Very proud member of the LGBTQIA community.
LMNOP.
Like,
you
so,
in here.
Just know that LMNOPs is in here, okay? All right? Yeah, so thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. And I must tell you, the idea for Chat It Up with Deanny came from like the first couple times we met up with each other.
Yeah.
It hasn't been long.
Yeah, not long enough. I can't even remember.
I can't remember when the first time, was it last year?
I feel like it was in the new year maybe, but only a couple of months at most.
Yeah.
You know, and we were just chatting. Like, this is a vibe.
Hey, it's a vibe.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Would you like to tell everyone how we met each other?
Yeah, of course.
Don't say no names though. We don't want some people's names on the podcast that are not here to defend themselves and be like, hey,
that's important. You're right.
So you can tell your side of the story and I'll tell my side, and then the truth will be revealed.
Period. Okay, so so I was on Facebook, you know, as we all are, and we were already friends on Facebook or something like that. I think just because we crossed paths in some environments.
I definitely requested to be your friend.
Yeah, I was like, I remember adding you, you know, and I would see your face around, right? And then there was a couple of times you were sliding up on a story like, oh, you're cute, you know. I don't remember your exact words, but you were being very nice.
I was being very nice.
Okay, period. So then, at some point, you just, you know, very boldly slid in them DMs.
Boldly?
Like,
okay.
You was being, listen, I respect being straightforward and upfront. You know, you wasn't beating around no bushes.
Man, you broke my heart.
That's not what happened.
Okay, I'm sorry. Finish.
You slid, and I was like, hello. But I just realized that some wires, we just know too many of the same people. And, you know, it was collateral damage. It was just, it didn't work out.
Oh my goodness. You never gave it a chance.
I respectfully, like you said, no names, but I care for people. You know, I care for people's feelings. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, we can't do this. But then you were cool with being friends, so I respected that.
I guess.
Some people are not. When I tell you, I was like, I don't know if they just gonna try to plot and be my friend, but really be trying to get in under the wire. I was like, I don't know how this gonna go. Listen, I can't tell you how many times that has happened. So I was like, all right, let's see how this goes. It was a vibe. So.
Okay, now we're gonna tell the truth.
Yeah.
So I did slide in your DMs.
Right.
But I had seen you out like a few times.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it to someone. I was like, who is that? And we're not gonna say that person's name. But I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
And they were like, no, they're off limits. That's my ex. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, everybody in Syracuse know everybody. I'm slept with someone, something, right?
It's always that way.
So I still decided to like friend you on Facebook. Not in the sense of like F them or something, but in the sense of like, I would like to get to know this person. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, slid in your DMs. And I wasn't like laying it on thick though. I was being calm.
Very just,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, you know, compliments. Just being nice.
I know. It's because you light skinned. So you just, I thought I was going to go with a lot of unanswered messages.
Right.
It's the light skin syndrome.
I don't like them generalizations, but I understand.
No. But yeah, and then it turns out that you knew someone else that I knew.
Yeah.
And then you said, you know, I really care about this person and I don't, you know, want any wires to get crossed.
Right.
So at first I was just like,
yeah.
He's stuck on someone who doesn't even want to be with him.
Don't disrespect me. Don't do me.
I was like analyzing the situation.
Right.
Because, you know, when people feel rejected or whatever. But it wasn't a rejection because I feel like whatever is for me, I'm not going to have to fight for it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm too beautiful to be trying to chase somebody.
Heard you. Period. I cannot anymore.
I love you though.
Yes.
But I'm really, really happy that you are in my life, and I feel like every time we get together, like it's just a vibe.
It's very comfortable. Yeah, I from the very first time, because the first time we hung out was at Cafe Football. It wasn't even at that other spot.
Yeah.
But I really, we were vibing. I was like, listen, that was a stressful time of the semester with the damn students. Okay.
I cannot.
It was a nice way to unwind. You know.
I think so as well.
Work, and you know me, I got my anxiety, my mental illness. So I was worried that I was going to be overly anxious and like this is, you know, going to be stressful. But it was really comfortable and calm, and it's always that way. So like that's how I knew. I was like, oh yeah, we gonna be fine. Ain't no way.
Oh my goodness. And speaking of dating,
you really want to segue into this?
How is dating for you in Syracuse? Like, how has that been?
Right. Well, you know, it's been interesting. You know, I'm a full disclaimer, like I'm a trans man, so when I started dating in the world, I was identified as a woman and a straight woman at that. So it was slim pickings. It wasn't good out here, you know, it was bad. But no, I mean, I had some good relationships. I mean, I had some good times, bad times, whatever. Like as a teen, we were all stupid as hell. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. So I feel like, yeah, I had my bad experiences, but it was more of just like growth and development, you know?
Yeah.
Now that I've gotten into my adulthood and like reconnected with my authentic self and dating as a trans man, someone who's being sexual, like open to all genders, it's been good and bad. You know, I've had my times where I meet people who I'm able to just be that authentic self with, and I'm able to explore parts of my identity that I wasn't able to for years, right? Mm-hmm. And it's great. You know, there was someone that I won't name that really reconnect with this.
Who threatened my life, by the way? Say nah. They didn't threaten my life.
Very problematic, but in other ways, you know, they helped me unlock this, and that, you know, it was a mutual, like we did that for each other. But then I've had some not so great experiences where, especially before, like I'm on testosterone, so I'm showing now, but before I didn't have certain features that you would expect a man to have, you know. So I think, so I used to attract women who liked women, you know, but I was very transparent with them and let them, you know, like, this is what it is. And they'd be fine with it, but then we come up against this wall where there's insecurity, like, you know, I don't know if I can satisfy you fully because you like men, you know. Can I swear? Can I?
Yes, you can.
You like niggas, so and I'm like, okay, like, but I'm, you know, just because I'm pan, right, I'm with you and you're my focus, like, period. Like, why would I be wasting your time? Or it would be you know, you're more likely to cheat because I've been with bisexual people and they cheat on me and blah. I'm like, that's just, that's problematic. All those narratives are just bad. So it's been a range. It's been a range of experiences, and now I just feel like the emotional intelligence, the lack of emotional intelligence, the traumas that people have been through, especially in the queer community, it's hard. It's hard to find people that are solid, that are able to like challenge themselves, be vulnerable, and so for that reason, it's like it's a challenge. It's
It really
hostile
is a challenge.
Yeah.
And if I could just like piggyback off of what you said, like me being so I do identify as queer, but it's like I feel like if I dated a bisexual man, that would make me feel a little insecure. But I feel like it's the same thing like with bisexual women and things like that. It becomes this like kind of like double standard.
Yeah.
Like I feel like men would be okay dating bisexual women, but women probably would not be okay dating bisexual men.
Yeah.
And I am unsure of like the full answer of like why that is. I know why it makes me uncomfortable, but it's like why do you think it makes other people uncomfortable to date like, you know, trans men or men that are bisexual?
Oh man, I've reflected on this many a time. Many a time. I think honestly, it comes down to a deeper core like insecurity, right? And that insecurity could be something that started years and years ago, like just not feeling like enough as a person, whatever, like in other areas. And those things follow us, you know what I mean? If they're developed in childhood and things like that, they follow us. So I feel like it manifests itself in different areas. Like you got people who are perfectionists because they feel insecure about their productivity levels. You got people who feel the need to like always have big groups of friends because I don't want to seem like I'm a loner, I don't want to be alone, and I'm afraid of whatever. And then you got these kinds of situations where it can manifest to where like, they feel that just because you're attracted to one gender or whatever, you know, a range of genders, there's a higher likelihood that you're going to cheat on me. That'll be the sort of like assessment, but that makes no sense, right, at all, because you could say the same for if you like somebody who also just only likes one gender, just like you. The likelihood is the same. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't change just because there's more options. And I think then that it comes from that deeper insecurity, that sort of like I already feel threatened in other ways, whatever. Like I might feel like I might not be enough for this person, period, because I don't know, I don't look like this woman, or I don't have these features, and blah blah blah. So the insecurities start to prey on like it's almost like it fixates on the next thing. Like, oh, you like one gender too? Okay, now I'm afraid
it's like double trouble, like triple, quadruple. You know, it's so
it's another way. I mean, again, like if it was a heterosexual situation where both people were like one gender, like I feel like the insecurity, you know, things come up. People are like, oh, like I'm afraid that my ass ain't as fat as this person, like, you know, and that's what's gonna lead you to cheat. But in this case, it's like, oh, I don't have that person's parts, you know, so am I not going to be able to please you? Right? I've had to deal with that, with people saying, well, how do you know you want to be with me if I don't have a dick? And I'm like, okay, who said that the love and connection we have has to do with your parts? Like, it has to do with way more than that, right? If this was about sex, then we wouldn't be together in the first place. Like, if it was just about the physical, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It's very complicated, but I think it has to do with insecurity. I think that's what it is.
I think we all have our own insecurities and our own traumas, which kind of prevent us from being in healthy relationships. And when I think about it, I can't think of any really, really close friend of mine that is in a relationship that I would strive for. I have talked to friends who are engaged, who are married, and they still feel like they're single mothers, although they have a husband or a wife. And I'm literally like, how does that work? You know, like I'm just like, how are you still do single mother things even though you're in a relationship? And I'm just like, why would I want to strive for something like that? I'm like, I feel like when you're with someone, they should be your partner. Like the load and the weight of, you know, the family dynamic should be shared. And I feel like we shouldn't, you know, just be with someone because it is convenient, or we shouldn't be lonely, or we just have kids with them. You should be with someone because, you know, you love them and you want to grow with them, and, you know, they make you a better person.
Absolutely. You know? And if you feel, you know, looking for connection like that, when you feel something that authentic and you truly, like, that's why you're with that other person, then, and you're feeling that from them too, then I imagine you wouldn't, not to say your insecurities disappear, but sort of like for what reason then? Would you be questioning, you know, like who else they're attracted to in the world? Like that's not something you can control. You have to trust that they are with you for you know if that's what you're there for too. So yeah, that's what I want. Like, hey, I can't control it.
Well, are you single?
Oh yeah. As a motherfucking Pringle, okay?
I don't want nobody texting.
You hear me getting close to this mic, man. Anybody that want to put me on, let me know, okay? No, yeah, I'm very single. I don't do the. It's been both like it's happened that way, and then more recently I was like, I posted it on my Snap. I was like, you know what, y'all? I'm realizing I haven't been on a date with someone new in almost a year. So I'm gonna try to make it to a year. And I was like, and it was a joke, but I was also just like, no, like, cause I'm fatigued from trying to date.
Oh yeah.
I'm tired, and that's valid. Like I feel like everybody gets to that point. So it's like, take a break. You know, like I want to naturally, especially with apps and online, like, no shade to that, but I was like, I gotta step back because I feel like I'm seeking, and I'm getting exhausted. So like, I'd rather just chill out. You know.
It definitely is a lot. Like, speaking of dating apps, I feel like I constantly run into a lot of women who are in relationships with men and be like, my man doesn't care if I step out, or or you want to join me and my man. It's the constant narrative, and it's just like, I'm not interested, like, you know, like, and I feel like, I don't know, it just comes off as if they're in this relationship because it's acceptable, and not because they are really in love with this person, you know. And maybe they're poly and not monogamous, but I always get that feeling. I'm just like, oh, so you're not happy with your man? No, I'm not happy with my man. So why are you with him?
Well, it makes me want to ask you, like, cause I do have a friend who is in a it's an open relationship, not necessarily polyamorous, but they, you know, they're very transparent and things like that. Like, you know, it seems to work for them. It's not easy, you know, but for yourself, when you think about that, do you believe in them being able to like have an open relationship and they're happy with each other, but they want to open it up, like mutually?
Yes, that's something different. I feel like than my man doesn't care if I step out. Because it seems a little sketchy. Because like, what if this person developed feelings for you after y'all been talking and hooking up and all these things? I'll be like, first of all, people are crazy. They are not. No one's really sane. But like, I just don't understand why, you know, it's just like, it's always like, oh, I'm not happy with my husband, so I'm gonna, you know, be with a woman. He doesn't care if I'm with a woman. I think he does. He may.
I'm sure he would, depending on what it looked like, you know. I do think that people, I don't know, they, like you said, the relationship is acceptable, but they get comfortable, they fear being alone. Because listen, if y'all decide to stay in a relationship and step out on each other, at least you can come back home to each other most nights or whatever, you know, and people would choose to be connected with someone, sometimes to a huge fault, to the point where they will experience abuse and everything else just to be with somebody. You know, so.
And I ain't here to judge, because we done all we done
all been there.
And sometimes I be like, "Ooh, God, don't let me slip back." I feel like I'm in recovery, so I don't got room to talk, but I got room to support you. I could give you some advice, but I don't got room to judge you.
No, I feel the same. I mean, obviously, I can't be a damn therapist and be out there like, you know what? No, it is that empathy piece, not only from personal experience, but from that too, understanding that like people, it's not that people chose like, oh yeah, I want to be with this abusive ass person. Let me just get in this relationship and stay there. No, you believe that there was a strong foundation there at some point where you really did develop a bond that is hard to rip away from.
It really is.
And then the abuse can create a dynamic that's like, I always describe it to people as like, it's like gambling. Like you might get breadcrumbs, you put your money in, whatever, hope for the best, but usually you might not be winning, but the times you do win, it feels amazing.
It does.
When things are good, it's great. When things are bad, it's horrible. You know, so it's almost addicting. Like it's hard to step away from.
Well, what have you learned, like, from your past relationships?
A whole lot. I've definitely learned a lot. I've learned I think to definitely like boundary work, like understanding what a boundary looks like, how to set and maintain it. I've really learned more about those patterns of abuse and manipulation, even just like in subtle forms. Because I can't say I've ever been in like a physically abusive relationship or anything hostile like that. I've been in something that was emotionally abusive and manipulative, like almost like borderline, like toxic.
Yeah.
But it taught me a lot about like the signs and different levels of that.
Yeah.
You know, and going through those experiences, and just like my abandonment issues, like where my insecurity, my fear of loneliness, where all that comes from, and then how it causes me to like keep re-entering, you know, toxic situations. So all that. Now we're in a better place. We're healing. We're healing.
Yes.
You know?
I definitely understand like the abandonment issues and things like that, because sometimes I feel like the abandonment issues, they always come from like when you're a child and something has happened, you lost a loved one, or you just didn't feel protected as a child, things like that. And I remember that my therapist told me one time, she was like, do you feel like your inner child is like running this relationship? And I said, first of all,
why are you so
ma'am,
I hear that.
She hears you. But I remember being in this relationship. We ain't gonna talk about Geminis on this podcast. But I remember like, so my last relationship was over like a year and some change ago. And I remember she texted me and said, you know, you're trying to manipulate me or something. And this was coming from someone who was like the queen of manipulation. Like one moment she's like, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me and I want to be with you. And the next moment she's like, nah, you a little too clingy. I'm just like, but you don't even live here. Like,
what are you talking about?
Like, it's been like a whole day since I talked to you. Can I hit you up? Can I call you? Like, are we dating? Like, what's going on? And once she said that to me, and then I called her, she didn't answer. Went straight to voicemail. I called her again. She didn't answer. I called her 4 times. And then that 4 is kind of small, right? Compared to how I was in the past, like calling her, leaving messages, like I can't believe that, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the 4th time in my spirit, I said, "Stop calling this girl," and she sent me a message and said, "I don't have anything to say to you," and I like. My inner child who deals with the abandonment issues was just like, we can't lose her.
Yes.
We cannot lose her.
Fight.
And she was terrible.
Yeah.
But I was so scared of like being by myself, and I was using her as a band-aid. But like you said, like when it's good, it's good. But it's like you can't date someone with multiple personalities who don't know who they are as a person.
Absolutely not.
I literally noticed that when we would hang out with my group of friends, or like, because I have separate groups of friends and stuff, because some of them can't be with each other, but we would hang out with my different groups of friends, and every time it was like I was getting a different person, and like people would be like, oh, she's mad cool. I'm like, that's not, I don't even know who this person is. I'm like, so there was like a disconnect for me, and I just felt like she didn't see me either. So, you know, all that led to her being like, abandoning me, basically. And I had to like deal with that and realize that, you know, like I could do bad all by myself. This person is not bringing anything into my life but stress and drama, but somebody to talk to. I'm like, I can talk to a friend.
Like, I can fulfill this need elsewhere. Like,
yes.
You are not my end all be all.
Yeah.
That abandonment wound can be really difficult to sit with, especially when these sorts of things are happening. Because, like we were saying, like it feels so great once you're able to like get them to be emotionally available for a moment, you know,
for just a moment.
But it's finite.
It really is. They will sit and cry in front of you, like, I'm so sorry I hurt you, and then like not even a couple days later, like, I said that. Are you?
Literally. And you know what was tough for me? Okay, so like, you know, especially if you like do research on this stuff, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Like, do your research for your sake, but don't. I remember I was in grad school when I was in one of my more unhealthy relationships, and I'm learning about this person's traumas and things, and it's interesting to me. They knew, like, because I would talk to them about it, like, oh, I'm learning this stuff in class, and you're telling me this, and they were like, it was helpful to them too. We would have conversations, but then once they started being ain't shit, then I'm like, oh, I understand where it's coming from, and me making excuses, and I'm like, no, like having that knowledge was like, it was helpful, and to have insight.
Yeah.
But it wasn't going to change the fact that that's what was going to keep happening until they heal their traumas, and it might not be in enough time, for you to actually have a successful relationship. Like by the time they heal, who knows? Like I'm gonna be sitting here, So it's there's ways that you'll try to cling on to that. You know what I'm saying?
I think toxic relationships have become our normal. Like it's what we see on television. Mm-hmm. It's what we see our friends and families go through, and it's not always just like a toxic relationship with a partner. Sometimes it's a toxic relationship with family members, and that's what I noticed, that a lot of times people are just like, oh, that's your family. That's how they are.
At the end of the day,
like giving them excuses to be like shitty towards you, and I'm just like, we can't do that. It's like my toughest thing, and when I think about the most toxic relationship in my lives, and I was in a physically abusive relationship with someone, it was with my family. Like it was worse than that physically abusive relationship. Absolutely. Because like this is like my blood family, you know what I'm saying? And having to create boundaries with your family, oh my God. I remember my sister stopped talking to me because I wouldn't rent her a car. And I said, first of all, you in an abusive relationship, and you're not about to mess up my credit. Like, I can't. And she wasn't understanding that. And I was just like, yo, I love you. Yeah, absolutely. But this is going on my card. So it's like, if anything happens to the car, it's on me. Yeah. She stopped talking to me for a whole year. Crazy. A whole year. Crazy. That's even. And the only reason we started talking again is because I called her.
Ain't that frustrating as hell? Like I reached out, I caved and reached out to you.
Yeah, and it was no apology.
But
it was no apology. Yeah, and she continues to be unapologetic about anything she says or does to me. Right. And like, so I've created these boundaries where I don't speak to her. Yeah. But I'll call my niece or my nephew and be like, how your auntie doing? Right. Because like, it's not that I don't care, but it's like, if I don't create this boundary, they will continue to use and abuse me. Absolutely. Like, if you ask any of my siblings who their favorite sister is, they will say me. Yeah, right. If you ask them if they treat me that way, the answer will be no. Yeah. So.
No, and I really respect, what you've done in that situation, because it is so hard to set limits and boundaries in those environments, like with family bonds and whatnot, especially because, like, there's a lot of different ideologies out there, and in families of color, there is, I think, even especially like big emphasis on you don't abandon, you don't walk away, you don't turn your back on, because understandably, because we do experience a great deal of trauma just going out into the world. We're in a white world, unfortunately. So I get wanting to band together, stay in the community and everything, but we gotta understand we have really deep-seated issues.
Really,
and we're compounding the trauma that the white man is causing. We're making it worse. So we have to have we have to find ways to navigate it healthy.
I had to change, because I used to just pray that my family and I be able to come back together. And now, when I pray, I say, God, universe, I want them to heal on their own, so that then we can come together and heal. Because if they don't heal the issues they're having on their own, as soon as we get together, it's going to be a Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, somebody. Next time you see me, be a neck brace, and I'm like, you should see my sister, fucked up. You'll be like,
none of that no more.
You'll be like, Blondine, you need to go to the doctor. I went. I got mommy's hydrocodone.
As you should. I remember having a really great friend that I had for years and years, and I mean, because of the repeated the repeated wounds and the traumas and things like that, I got to a point where I was like, I really don't care if I never see you again. And it was genuine. It wasn't coming from I'm trying to act all tough, I got no emotion. No, I really couldn't access feelings of love for that person anymore, because they had just done so much. And that can happen in any relationship.
It can.
So you have to set boundaries. to protect and preserve if that's what you want to do. So, yeah.
It's like, I think over the years I have noticed that, you know, like the toxic friendships and stuff like that, I've noticed that my friend groups have changed.
Yeah.
Like, even when I look back, like pre-pandemic, like I felt like I was out partying more, having a good time. And then something happened during the pandemic because I realized I had a few white friends. Yeah. And then their true color showed.
Yes.
Or they just had a nonchalant view of what was going on.
Very passive.
Yeah. You know, I did have this, you know, one friend at the time who I felt was my friend, but now I look back, he was just an associate. But he was a white man, and he was upset because, you know, I didn't want to get vaccinated, and he was just like, it just started yelling at me, like when he was drunk and stuff, but literally would not have any opinion about black people dying every day. Like, he was just kind of like, he just kind of didn't care. And he felt that he, as a white man, could tell me as a black woman that I'm endangering the world because I don't want to get vaccinated. Even though I was immune compromised. He didn't care. As long as he got that out. So I was just like, I had to, I knew though. The thing is, I always know when a friendship is about to end. It's revealed to me in some way, or I just feel, you know, the energy is off. Absolutely. And my eyes are open, and then I go, so, you know, no. Or like, I feel it, and then if I don't act on it, something happens. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when I do feel it, I need to act on it versus some big event happening where we, you know, we part that way. But like, even like in the sense of like going out and stuff, like my friend group has certainly changed because like I'm really more focused on like my business and stuff.
Absolutely.
But it's like, dang, can I get some friends who are business oriented, but also like to travel and go see new places and don't want to go to treks? Because
why are we going there?
I've been saying this for a while, but we need more black queer spaces.
Absolutely.
More, like one. I don't think we have any.
No, because treks does not count.
It does not count.
You know, Wonder Bar definitely. Because I understand everybody's like, oh, Wonder Bar is, you know, it's new and I love the aesthetic, but let's be really fucking for real.
Like, I've done shows and stuff there, and I'm, you know, kind of friends with the owner, but still, like, it's not a black queer space.
It's not.
Don't get me wrong, he will support us and take our money and do shows and all this stuff. I've done shows there and I'll continue to do shows there, but it's like, it's something about when you have your own space as a black queer person and like can feel safe 100%. Without having to go to other white owners and be like, can we rent out your space?
Yeah, because and it, we have to do it in this case in Syracuse, unfortunately, but it's like, damn, listen to how that sounds. I have to ask this white person, can I use your space? You know, can I please take up a little bit of room? Like, that's all we're ever doing is asking to take up room, asking for space. You know, and that's exhausting. It shouldn't be that way. You know, so we need it. We definitely need it.
And I also feel like it could be hard for us to come together.
Yeah.
For whatever, because we a messy community. Let's just be real.
It is.
Let's just be real.
Very messy.
I don't want to say I've had my share of being messy. I don't want to say that.
You gotta be authentic.
I don't think that's why I started this podcast. So I can be messy on the podcast.
Period. Like,
but like, I found myself in some mess, like not intentionally, but I be seeing the stuff that be going on Facebook. It be like a whole soap opera. I be like, he slept with him and he slept with her. They got a baby. They don't got a baby.
You know, like,
you done gotten 3 fights in 2 days. Why are you fighting? What is going on?
Right. But you know what? And I'm not trying to be that guy that just keeps saying trauma. But I'm like, listen, you talking about, those are intersectional identities. You got being queer and oppressed in those ways, and then you got being of color, any whatever, you know, and then you add all the different gender identities that are underneath that and how those are oppressed as well, right?
Yeah.
Because the trans man experience is very different from, you know, being non-binary, very different from this, that, and the third. So you have all these intersectional identities, all of that compounded trauma. It's like it grows exponentially, and so the way we interact with each other, it manifests itself in how we make relationships with each other, how we communicate, how we deal with conflict, like, and it's something that we can grow and heal and change, but we have to first acknowledge, like, we got some shit going, like, it's deep, you know what I'm saying? Yes, our personal traumas, but just being queer and of color is itself, like, that is trauma, you know, so I feel like it comes down to that. That's why it's messy. That's why it's messy with us, you know? Like, yeah.
I know. I really hope that we can kind of come together and like have our own space.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be from Black or whatever the case, because I will buy a bar.
Period.
And we will do a whole dinner theater so that I could, you know, have a big enough space where we could do shows or performances, whatever we want to do, and we make money off the bar and get a little food, some snacks. You know what I'm saying? We do that. You gonna be one of the go-go dancers?
Listen, I'm 100% be a go-go dancer. Let me know. Any opportunity, okay? All right.
Oh my goodness, I can't with you, London. But yes, tell folks where they can find you. Facebook, Instagram, Snap, wherever it is.
Oh my God.
You got a secret Snap? Is that what it's called?
Okay. You know, my Snap.
Wait, a private Snap, not a secret
we
Snap.
Do. We got the public Snap. We got the private.
Ooh, London, you gonna let me private you on the private one?
Don't do that. Now, I am very, very nice. Okay, I don't post nothing crazy.
Why is it private then?
You know, honestly, because I got too many coworkers on my public Snap.
Oh, okay.
So I just can't have them seeing everything that I say. You know?
I don't friend anybody I ever worked with. I don't.
There's some. I pick and choose. It's like the safe ones.
Yeah.
You know, you can find the seasoned, the safe ones. Like, you can find them. You know. No, but as far as like just my Insta on Facebook, it's London Wright, WRIGHT. Okay. And on Insta, it's London's Life _. Yeah, that's the full thing. I be forgetting my handles because with social media, it's not like I don't be posting, but I don't ever promote myself. So I'm kind of like, it's new to me.
I know, look at you.
Yeah, y'all find me.
Also, if you want to date London, should they hit you up on Facebook?
Listen, all right, hit me up on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up on the Insta. That's fine.
That's fine.
Just swipe on up.
As long as you not friends with somebody he used to date, y'all gonna go far.
Don't be close, okay? Right, and come healed, please.
Or healing.
Healing,
so y'all come together and continue.
Because I'm healing too, yes, please.
Healing is never linear.
Lean into that.
Continue.
Lean into that, please.
But yes, and you can follow me on Facebook, just Blondine Young, BLONDEANYUNG. You can follow my business page, which is BLAAC, Black Latino Asian Artists Coalition, on Facebook, and also on Instagram. I am the Queen Blondine, and my business Instagram is b.l.a.a.c. London, I thank you so much for being here with me.
Absolutely.
You're looking so fine and cute.
I just got a haircut too.
I see it.
No, thank you so much for having me. It was great to get to express this. I can talk and talk, especially when it's us.
When it's us.
So
that's why I was like, I gotta find a way to end this. Yeah, we can talk for 5 hours.
All right, and people gotta go.
And people gotta go. People got other things to do. Yeah. Matilda over here, like, I gotta go. Wrap it up. But thank y'all so much for joining us on Chat It Up with Deanny. We will have some new episodes coming for you soon. So stay blessed.